Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Teachable Moments on the Educational AD Podcast. This is our weekly series featuring Dr. Mekia Troy, a certified master athletic administrator. She's the director of athletics at Creekside High School in Georgia, also a member of the NIAAA National Faculty. We'll be right back with Dr. Troy's segment, but first we want to give a shout out to our podcast partners, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, Florida Coaches Coalition, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports, and We Coach. You've heard me mention these groups before. They're all great. You should add them to your network too. Now, let's give our sponsors a shout out. These are all products that I used as an athletic director or as a head football coach. You should be using them too. We want to say thanks to VitalSignsWallOfFame.com for their support. That's the website, VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. They're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. Go to their website and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to display your school records. It's a great way to display your school's Hall of Fame. And it's a great way to tell your school's compelling stories. Go to VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. Mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. We also want to say thank you to Home Campus, the exclusive high school and state association management platform for us. It's also your one-stop platform for things like schedules, student-athlete eligibility and clearance, coaches tracking, and a whole lot more. Go to homecampus.com to find out more. That's homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Start creating world-class content for your school's social media channel. Your students are on social media, and if you're not, you're really missing out on a great opportunity to promote your athletes and celebrate your team's accomplishments. Mention this podcast. Gipper will also give you a nice discount. That's Gipper.com. It's used and trusted by over 3,000 athletic departments across the country. Gipper.com. We also want to thank Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. You're going to find digital ticketing that offers more support, more security, more customization. Go to hometownticketing.com. We'd like to thank Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com. That's the website, snapraise.com. Check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you run your department better. There's Snap Raise, the number one fundraising platform, but you also have Snap Connect, Snap Manage, Snap Store, and a whole lot more. To get started, go to snapraise.com. We'd also like to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, and it was just fantastic. But when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that allowed them to coach our kids up to their highest level. Go to huddle.com. See why we believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 8 million users and turn your school into a Huddle school. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out their products and schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. Their products not only generate income for your athletic department, they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. That's sidelineinteractive.com. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that allows you to take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. Athletic directors already hear back from the complainers, the 2% that want to gripe about everything. Athletic surveys connect you with the 2%, but they also connect you with the 98% that support your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast and our new weekly series Teachable Moments with Dr. Mekia Troy. Dr. Troy is a certified master athletic administrator. She's the director of athletics at Creekside High School in Georgia, also a member of the NIAAA National Faculty. And every week she joins us to share what we're calling a teachable moment for an athletic director or leader. Dr. Troy, always great to see you again. What do you have for our listeners this week?
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about social media. This is something that has been an unexpected benefit to me as an athletic administrator. Definitely not something that I saw going the way that it has, but it's been a great surprise, I'll call it. It really started with a push from a former principal to get the groups in the school to write our own story, basically, to control our narrative as to what we were doing in our programs. And I took him up on a challenge with some hesitancy to get started and created a Twitter page at the time for our athletic department. It wasn't long before the number of followers began to grow and people started to expect to hear from us on a more consistent basis. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. A lot to keep up with, but it was incredible. And then for years, it was the only page that I actually used to share anything related to the position as athletic director, even professionally for me. But over time, it felt strange to get congratulation posts for maybe some of my own personal accomplishments on the school's athletics page. It didn't seem right. I know several ADs that still use their athletics page as the place that they call home for their social media presence. But I recognized that maybe that wasn't the best fit for me anymore. And it really started with the pandemic in 2020. The NIAAA's conference was virtual that year. And I remember sitting through a workshop that spoke on building a strategic network. And in doing so, social media could be a big part of that. And within the workshop, I was able to see how having that presence could impact me professionally, separately from what I do as just the athletic administrator here at my school. So I decided to dust off my old Twitter handle from 5 years prior with its 9 followers and kind of revive it to just know professionally what I could get out of doing that. And I started to follow all the workshop presenters that I sat through during that time of the conference, a lot of peers in the field, and just follow them and learn. And something else that I recognized was that if I were to leave the school, everything that I had built was all housed in the athletic department's social media page. And there was nothing that I'd really be able to take with me to show for it, because it wouldn't be fair to not have that for the next person sitting in the seat. I shouldn't be trying to take that with me because that is the school's. It's not mine. So I had to create my own strategy and recognize that I have an identity, a brand as an athletic administrator separately from just the role in supporting the school in this position. So that's what I did. And it was just incredible to see how many people were there that I could learn from, and the free professional development that's available just by being a part actively of social media. I learned a lot. I found out about the Educational AD podcast not long after that time. I learned about Gipper, something that I use within our department on a daily basis for creating graphics and schedules and score updates, and people look forward to seeing those things. But it all came from that push to just create something separately as a professional for myself by using social media. So I would encourage anybody to just think about it. If you're hesitant or don't know if you want to do that on your own, at least just create the account and maybe just follow. If you don't feel like you have anything to say, that's fine. Just follow some other accounts to learn, because you can't beat the free professional development that's available just by being actively involved on social media. So it's been an unexpected benefit to me. And hopefully, if there are others that haven't really had a chance to dive in, they'll take this as some advice to do so.
Social media, and again, for our listeners who haven't figured this out, I'm a lot older than you. But social media was, I think, really kicking in the last few years that I was an athletic director, before retiring. But you made a comment that is absolutely spot on. It allows you as an athletic director to take control of the narrative of your school. If you're not putting out all the great stories about your student athletes, your coaches, et cetera, not just sports results, but the stories and the accomplishments, um, people are going to talk about your school and they don't know these stories. So they might be talking about it in a negative light. But if you're pumping out that social media, you're really, as you said, taking control of the narrative. Um, can you pick out an example? And again, for our listeners, if you haven't followed Dr. Troy, very active on social media, with her school, but can you think of an example where you made a post about a coach, about a kid, about a game or something that really generated a lot of positive buzz in your community, more so than say the normal post?
Yeah, one that was unique. There's an athlete that, he passed away some time ago, but his jersey, we actually, restaurants, they want memorabilia and things to hang in their restaurants. So we provided a jersey. It wasn't his personal jersey, but it was the number that he wore. So we, just sent out a picture recognizing not only the restaurant that was new in the community, but saying, can anyone name who wore this number? And that was an All-American, our first All-American here at our school. And the response we got, I think we offered a t-shirt too. The response that we got was from all over the place. And the actual winner was not someone who attends our school. His father attended our school decades ago, but he had heard the stories of this particular athlete. So this young man that, attends school across town received one of our t-shirts because he was able to respond. And so that it drove engagement, not only for us in our athletic department, but also business for, the restaurant in the community. So that one was an interesting one.
Oh, I love that story. And again, you hit on another keyword there, engagement,
Yeah.
fan engagement, reaching out into the community. Great, great stuff. Boy, you're just killing it with this series. Um, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out, find out a little bit more about how you roll with social media, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can follow at Dr. Troy Me on Twitter or X, DrTroyme. Email Dr. Troy Me at Gmail. And our school athletics page for Twitter is Creekside_Tribe. Check us out.
And I don't know. I think Elon Musk is going to get a big fail with this changing to X. But people, when we say Twitter, everybody knows what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Dr. Troy, she's got a great X game as well as a great Twitter game too. So check her out. Mekia, thanks again for all that you give back to our profession and all you do for our listeners here every week on the podcast. And we're getting close to winter sports now, so I know you're going to be gearing up for that as well. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For our listeners, we appreciate you too. And we upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Thanks as always for listening. Come back next week for another great tip from Dr. Mekia Troy, a teachable moment, and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Boy, social media, great way to promote your school, promote your kids. And one of our sponsors is who you want to get connected with, Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. That's what they do. They show you how to create world-class content for your school social media channel. Mention this podcast, they'll give you a nice discount too. That's Gipper.com. We also want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com. That's the website. Check out their entire platform, snapraise.com. Also, vitalsignswalloffame.com. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. vitalsignswalloffame.com. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey for your school that lets you take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. That's athleticsurveys.com. Also, want to encourage you to check out huddle.com. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com to get signed up. Home Campus is just a fantastic platform for state association connections, for student athlete eligibility and clearance, for coach tracking, scheduling, a whole lot more. Go to homecampus.com. Mention this podcast, they'll also take care of you too. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. And finally, Sideline Interactive. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out their indoor score tables and video boards. You can schedule a live demonstration to see how easy it is to get them on your campus. That's sidelineinteractive.com. Thanks again for listening to this episode of Teachable Moments with Dr. Mekia Troy on the Educational AD Podcast. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.